Welcome to Habs Unfiltered. I'm your host, Blaine Pudvey, and I'm joined now by a very special guest, Frank Nazar, a 2022 draft hopeful. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to have you here just to talk basically about the draft, your career so far. My followers, they have a ton of questions that they wanted to ask of you. Clearly, it's a Montreal Canadiens show, so some people were asking about the first overall, and other people were talking about trading up. So you've piqued their interest. But at the start, what kind of drew you to hockey to begin with?
Yeah, kind of just, I don't know, I kind of have a funny story just about how I got into it. It wasn't like my parents played or anything. It was just my dad used to own a parking garage downtown Detroit, and he used to park the cars for all the Wings fans, and he just kind of became a huge Wings and hockey fan like through that. And one day he was just watching a game, and I walked into his room, and I was just, like, I was intrigued, and it looked fun, and he asked me if it was something I wanted to do. So I said yeah, and he signed me up.
And what age was that at?
I think I was about like 6 or 7.
Okay, it's a good time to start.
Yeah.
Now, watching you skate, it seems like you were it just comes as second nature. When you started, were you a natural skater when you began?
Yeah, I actually was. So my dad signed me up for like a learn to skate thing, and a few of my friends from school were doing it too. And they got on the ice, and they're like holding onto the boards, and then I got on the ice, and I'm like skating around the rink, and everybody's like, what do you do, And actually, like, after the first day I went, they're like, you don't really need to come back, like you could start playing. So I only ended up really having to do that for like one day.
Unlike the rest of us, 35 years later, I'm still trying to learn. So do you have any cherished memories of youth hockey with your family, friends?
Can you like elaborate more on that? As in,
Well, like tournaments or, winning a certain championship, going to pizza with the family afterwards, that kind of stuff.
yeah, kind of just, I'd probably have to say the thing I really remember like each year was just playing in the state championships, and I was able to win it like 5 years in a row. Basically, I haven't lost a state tournament. So I think that was pretty cool. Just my family always showed up to those, and we always got a lot of people to come out for that. And then I'd also have to say, just like this past like 2 years playing with the national team, I had a bunch of family come out for the games, and we ran up the ticket boxes. So, and then like on my birthday, I also had so many people there. So it was really cool to see everybody there, just like supporting and watching the game.
That's pretty cool. Sounds like fun. And
Yeah.
now you mentioned your dad is a huge Wings fan, and we won't hold that against him here. I grew up in and around Southern Ontario, Northern Ontario, so there are a lot of Wings fans around where I grew up. Is there any memorabilia that he got or you've inherited from him that you really enjoy?
I can't say that there's anything that like he's passed down, but he definitely has this. He has a Lindstrom jersey that he still has, and that I think that's pretty cool. Just I think Lindstrom was just a great player. He's like one of the best defensemen to play, and I don't know, that's just like the time that he was a fan, and like he was the guy there. So I think that's pretty cool, and just the photos I see of him like with the cup or like downtown like partying with the Red Wings. So I think basically just that.
Yeah, it's he honestly is one of the best defensemen to ever play. So
Yeah,
it's not that bad of a jersey to be keeping.
Yeah.
Now, on your development, I mean, a lot of people overlook the human aspect of the players coming into the draft as if you guys are just assets. But how hard was it to balance school and friends and training and the game itself?
For me, honestly, it wasn't such of a hard time or a big thing to really worry about. I gotta say, like, lucky enough, school came pretty easy for me. So it wasn't too much to handle. And then like the friends part, I still have a bunch of friends like back here in like the Mount Clemens area, and then just moving out to Plymouth, it was just hard to kind of be able to see them. But I have really great friends who always are like there for me and support me, and like they know what I want to do. So like if I can't like go hang out with them one night, they're not like mad at me or like forcing me to come out either way. It's like, all right, like we're here for you. So for me, like I think it was pretty easy to go through.
That's good actually. That that you're able to find that balance. That's a very important aspect, especially when you move
Yeah.
into professional ranks. It's going to be very difficult to do all of it.
Yeah.
Now, on your development itself, hockey wise, how important? What did it mean for you to be brought into the USND TDP?
Honestly, it was when I found out I got the phone call and I was asked to play there. I was super almost like relieved, I guess, and excited because that was just like growing up. That's always where you're looking at being from like this area, especially like playing there growing up. And I know it was just cool to see all the guys that go through there and then end up in the NHL like playing and really good players. And just being able to get that phone call and asked to play for the team was just amazing, I guess.
Now, what is it in that program? Because they've developed a ton of NHL talent the last few years specifically. Is there anything special that they do? Do they put something in the water to make you guys so good?
No, that was actually kind of like a joke our coach made about like our practices and stuff. He's like, there's nothing easy. There's no formula in the water. It's like, it's just how we come in and how we like go at things. And I think it's really cool, like with the programs being able to like represent our country and they kind of put a big emphasis on that and how we act and how we play. So I think that was something that goes into it. And it's just each guy shows up every day and it's just kind of something that you kind of just stack on like each day.
Kind of like an ambassadorship for your country.
Yeah.
I get it. That's man, you guys, can you stop beating Canada as often? That'd be nice. Just, personal
Not
personal
my age
request.
group. Not my age group. You gotta ask someone different age group, then maybe they'll say yeah.
Now, watching you play, you have this ability to play within yourself and not get too overwhelmed by the game itself. Does that cool demeanor come naturally, or is that something you had to develop?
So I'm trying to think. I haven't been asked that before, so that's something new to me. No, I feel like just growing up is kind of always been that way, and I'm not really like the instigator type of guy. It's like I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna go down and score, and I'm gonna like just walk right past, skate right past. Like I'm not gonna acknowledge you. I'm not gonna chirp or anything, and that's kind of how it's always been growing up. I just feel like why give fuel to their fire? Like if we want to win, like why would I push them on for a couple like extra words or a laugh? Like it's just I just don't think it's worth it. But no, I feel like I've always been like that. Just like growing up, like there's some times where when I was playing AAA, somebody would try to chirp me, and like somebody from the other team would be like, "Bro, don't chirp them, don't chirp them." So that's like, so that's something that I've kind of always done.
Yeah, it's like waking a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
In my career, my hockey career, I might have been guilty of doing that.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but just not my style.
Yeah, I didn't have your skill, so I had to find something. Now, what kind of hockey do you feel best suits your personal style, and what kind do you really enjoy playing?
Definitely just a fast, high-paced game. I like being able to kind of like rotate throughout like the positions, I guess, just like kind of being able to play quick in each zone. I think that kind of suits my game the best. And I feel like I'm playing my best when I'm playing like I said, a high paced game and always keeping my feet moving. So I think that's what suits me.
Who is there anyone you try to emulate, or several people you try to emulate to kind of help your game?
Yeah, there's two guys that I kind of like to watch, and it's Bergeron and Point. And I feel like the Point aspect's just more of like my playing style, and and kind of like how I am as a player. And then the Bergeron aspect is I'm kind of new to center. I haven't played like that long, only like I guess 2 years now. And he was kind of the guy I looked to get better at the position and learn the routings and stuff.
The coverages, the defensive zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's no one better. I mean, he's
Yeah.
one of the most Selkies.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense. Now with you just completed the combine in Buffalo, not that long ago. Did you feel like there was something there that you were kind of using that to help showcase yourself? Or was that just one of those, I'm going through the motions to show what I got?
Sorry, what do you mean by that? As in
Like you go in, you put all out hoping that it's more of a showcase for yourself.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm 100% gonna take it serious. Like that's something that's gonna help me. Like my advisor and I talked about it, and like percentage wise, and then that's like the extra percentage that's gonna push you to the limit, I guess. And I went in there just a mindset of like just be me and just do what I normally do. Like it's not like nothing's changing. So I went in there and I thought I did really well. And my testing scores weren't like extremely high, just going through injury. So I mean, I'm not really too worried about that. But I thought the interviews went really well. So that's kind of something that I took pride in, because that was something I could have done well in. And knowing that the testing wasn't going to be the greatest, so I had to do well in that.
Well, I'm sure the injury slowing you down didn't help, but did you do anything to prepare for the tests?
Yeah, just going through workouts and kind of doing things like conditioning wise for the biking, and just things for the jumps, I guess. And obviously for me it wasn't as much as I probably could have done, but it was as much as I could have done in the situation, I guess.
Did they do anything like duct tape your feet to the bike when you're doing the VO2 max?
No.
Because there's a lot of stories of guys doing that. I find it funny when they, I'm going to go so fast, I'm going to fly off the bike kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it's the VO. I kind of wish they did for the VO2. I think the pedals we had were like you didn't really strap in, or I don't know, it was one of the biking ones. It was like you didn't, like your feet didn't strap in, it was just on top.
Well, maybe something to pass on to the younger guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the interviews. Was there any preparation with the interviews so you can kind of take the nerves out of it for yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. Just I kind of had like a sheet with all the questions that I was gonna expect and some weird ones, and kind of went through and filled it all out, and then kind of just had like my family ask me and then just like throughout the year, kind of talking to the teams over Zooms and answering survey questions. It kind of just came like through practice, I guess.
And what was it like to sit in an interview with someone like, say, Steve Yzerman?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool being able to see Steve, and then Draper was also in there. And then I thought it was really cool to see Kyle Dubas too. Just like watching the series they had on Amazon Prime. So I was like, oh man, this guy's on TV, So no, it was really cool just being able to see those guys.
Did anyone ask you something really off the wall, some really random, strange question?
Honestly, no. I kind of had just like straightforward questions almost the whole time.
Not bad. I mean, for years they were
Yeah.
doing these crazy, what kind of tree would you be kind of questions.
Yeah. Well, I had one where it was like, what kind of animal would like describe your personality? And I was like, I mean, but like to me, like that wasn't like super weird, because I kind of like almost expected that from talking to a few guys like that went to or did like the combine and stuff before. So, but I mean, that one was pretty funky.
I'm guessing that was the Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hughes seems to like those types of questions, just coming from being an agent.
Yeah.
Now, you have chosen to go to the University of Michigan, your home state school, and you chose that over going to the London Knights of the OHL. What was behind your decision there?
I have nothing like against London. I think they're a great organization, and I think it's more just almost like I don't want to say backup part of it, but just like the schooling part of it. I like school. And I also have a coach in Michigan, Brendan Naranjo, who I kind of grew up skating with. And I think he's a great coach. And I think he's going to help me get better. And I'm not saying like London wouldn't, but I just feel that just Michigan right now is the spot that I want to go to. And like, I don't know like what's coming in the future, but as of right now, I like Michigan. So.
Well, I mean, it's hometown team kind of thing, so that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Um, did you feel that maybe the NCAA would provide you more time for training because they don't have that 70 game pro schedule that the OHL would have?
I guess in a way, when you think about it, that wasn't really something like I factored in, like going into the decision. But I think it was more of just like where I really like felt would be the best spot for me.
And Michigan's coming off of an unfortunate loss in the final of the Frozen Four last year. Did they state a goal that they wanted this year with the new class coming in?
No, not yet. I'm sure we'll get one like when we come in, but I think we're just gonna go in with a working mindset and not really focus too much on that.
And with the coaching staff there, you mentioned you have a coach that you've grown with. Was is there any issues with the current coach not having a contract? Has anyone mentioned that or?
No, I haven't really like looked too much into it. Kind of just been doing my own thing and not really focusing on them. Obviously, I got to focus on myself and focus on getting better. So I just been in the gym and on the ice.
And we're in the summer. You're going to have to go through all the training and all the everything you need to do to prep for the next season. Is there anything that you would do to decompress yourself to kind of unplug from hockey?
Um, yeah, I guess I kind of just like not too long ago I took a trip to Florida, so that was kind of like my decompress from hockey, just a week off to kind of get away, rest my body, and kind of reset the mind, and being able to just go back into it with an open mind again. I mean, I'm not saying it went away. It was just something that it was nice to take a little bit off and spend some time with family and friends.
Sounds nice. We're only a couple of weeks away from the NHL draft in Montreal. Uh, is there any expectations that you personally have for the experience? Has anyone given you a heads up on what to expect?
No, not really. Nobody's really kind of told me like what's gonna go on. Just more of kind of just like showing up, I guess. But no, obviously I know like how the things work and what's gonna happen, but I'm not like so sure like what's gonna happen when we get there. So I don't know like where I'm gonna go or anything like that. So it's just gonna be kind of like a roller coaster, and I'm just super excited for it.
Now, obviously, growing up in Michigan, being drafted by Detroit would be a dream. But is there any team that you feel that you would be a good fit for?
Yeah, I feel that I think Pittsburgh would be a good spot for me. I just feel like I could just go in there and just help the team. And there's a lot of older guys kind of leaving, so I think that's a place that I feel like that's the place I'd really like to play at. And I think they just have a great organization there. And it's not like a knock to any other teams. That's just how I feel. So.
And that's fair. And it's not that far. It's still within driving distance for your parents to make it to games. So
Yeah,
that's always a bonus.
yeah,
Now, it's going to take a lot of effort to get to that point, but judging by what I've seen of your game thus far, you have the work ethic for it. Do you
thank you.
feel like you're welcome? Do you feel like you got that from your parents?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're definitely a factor in it, and like almost like the nurture of it, kind of just bringing it in, and just like what they've gone through, and just being able to like overcome adversity and just go through things and keep working, and that's kind of something that I like to pride upon myself too. So it's kind of like almost like I'm doing it for myself, and then I'm doing it for them. So it's something that they've helped with.
Do you feel like that's an advantage for you over other players that are in this draft?
Yeah, I think so too. I kind of think that like maybe just some like when things are like almost like given to someone like the whole time, I think that's something that like can be a disadvantage. And I've had to work for what I wanted, and I think that's something like going through this process and going into the future is going to help me a lot.
Now, this is a Canadians-based podcast, so I'm going to ask you just a little bit about the Habs. And I mean, they had that strange question, but if the Canadians were to trade up into the first for another pick in the first round, are you prepared for how crazy your life's going to be over that next couple of weeks?
What do you mean by that?
Well, the media glare, the fan intensity, that kind of spotlight.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'd definitely say I'd be prepared. I'm not really too much of a like I guess outgoing person. I'm more of almost like an introvert. So kind of just get through it. And I'm sure like after that like week or so, when I get home, it's like I'm not gonna really want to talk to anyone, and I'm just gonna be like by myself. But I know I definitely be ready and just be ready to give people some good answers and have fun with it.
And several of your teammates are going to be at this draft as well. Are you guys planning something together just to support each other, or anything along those lines?
No, but we probably should. We probably should get something going, but I don't know. I feel like everybody's just gonna be busy with their own stuff, so there probably won't be anything that works out.
And has anybody from the previous classes of the US program given you guys any heads up on what to expect?
No, honestly, no, because the last 2 years have been the online one. So like the only guys that we've really talked to, I guess. Well, for me personally, yeah, we're online draft, so it's so it wasn't like something they could really like give advice on.
And the pandemic, I mean, the two countries, the United States and Canada, approach things a little differently at different times.
Yeah.
But how difficult was it for you to work on your game during that 2-year span?
Honestly, for me, I can't say it was as bad as it was for the guys from Canada. I think they had it bad, just not really being able to do anything almost besides unless you're at home. And luckily for us, like the US was only really like closed down for just not really too long of a time. And even through that, I was able to like shoot pucks and stuff. But once things started like opening up a little bit, it was kind of easy for me. I have a good like lifetime friend, Steve Oleski, who's playing the NHL, who's won a Stanley Cup, and he kind of helped me get in the ice, and I guess my mom helped me like in the gym and just figure stuff out. So for me, it wasn't too bad. So I was lucky enough to have a good situation.
Now, for the final question, I'm going to do something that's a little off the wall, kind of Canadian style. But if there was any one country in the world that you haven't been to yet that you would want to go to, where would it be?
I'd probably say Greece or Italy. I feel like just either one of those would be really cool. I'm Italian, so I feel like if I went to Italy, it'd be just cool to see like kind of the culture. And then I really like Greece. I think that'd just be a sweet place to visit, and that'd probably be like my like number one vacationing spot.
It sounds that actually sounds pretty good. I've been to both. You can't go wrong. So
what part of Italy did you go to?
the entirety.
Oh, really? You went through like
Yeah, we did a bit of a tour of the country for the military. We were doing
nice.
grave sites,
okay.
going through the whole country. It's a gorgeous country. Everyone there is so nice. It
Really?
can't go wrong. And Greece as well, beautiful country as well, great people, and the beaches are unbelievable.
How's the food?
Really good.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the little hole in the wall places that you would find, those are
Yeah.
usually the best.
Good.
Now, Frank, I want to thank you for coming on the show and giving me some of your time. I know you're busy, so I truly appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun talking to you.
All right, thanks a lot. And for my listeners, remember, if you're talking about it, so are we.